Good morning and welcome to Mare Island. Today is an important day for California's future. I'm Jeff Armstrong, president of Cal Poly and the Cal Poly Maritime Academy, and we are delighted to host this announcement here on Mare Island, just minutes from the Cal Poly Maritime Academy campus. Governor Newsom, our Cal Poly Maritime Academy Admiral, Captain, VP, crew, and especially these amazing cadets are proud to welcome you here today. Behind me is Golden Bear, which for more than 3 decades has served as a floating classroom, providing students with transformative learn-by-doing experiences. Earlier this summer, nearly 300 cadets returned from a voyage across the Pacific, completing the vessel's final training cruise. Golden Bear remains berthed here as we modernize our waterfront facilities and prepare to welcome the new training ship, Golden State. With sincere thanks to MARAD, and we have representatives here today and others, we look forward to welcoming this next generation vessel, which will prepare cadets to lead our nation's maritime workforce and national security. Today's gathering is ultimately about opportunity. Last year, we were honored to host Governor Newsom's joint military and Jobs First Council meeting on shipbuilding. It brought together leaders committed to strengthening California's economy through education, workforce development, and industry partnerships. Those priorities align closely with CSU Forward, the California State University, really Chancellor Garcia's vision for student success, workforce development, and economic prosperity. Governor Newsom, we are grateful to you and your team for your leadership and partnership in advancing this work. Thank you for being here today. We're also delighted to be joined by Secretary Stuart Knox, Senior Advisor to the Governor and Director Dee Dee Myers, our partner Jay Banfield, Assembly Member Lori Wilson, many Cal Poly Maritime leaders, and many leaders in the city and county of Solano and Vallejo. Here on Mare Island, we will connect students, employers, community colleges, public agencies, and industry leaders to create pathways to meaningful careers and strengthen California's workforce through upskilling and retraining. The work is bigger than any one campus or industry. It reflects a shared commitment to developing talent, driving innovation, and expanding economic opportunity across our state. None of this would be possible without the vision and leadership of Chancellor Mildred Garcia and the CSU Board of Trustees. As the 11th Chancellor of the California State University and the first Latina to lead the nation's largest and most diverse 4-year public university system, Chancellor Garcia has championed student success, workforce development, and economic mobility across California. Please join me in welcoming California State University Chancellor Mildred Garcia.
Thank you, President Armstrong. Good morning. Buenos dias. It is wonderful to be here with you on this truly momentous and celebratory occasion. Indeed, it is a great day for Cal Poly and Cal Poly Maritime, for the California State University, for the Bay Region, and for the beloved state of California. Of course, here against the backdrop of the Golden Bear, we celebrate a visionary investment to advance the critically important maritime and shipbuilding industries, an investment that both leverages and enhances Cal Poly's long history of innovation, workforce development, and transforming lives through the principles of learn by doing. But we also celebrate equally visionary and consequential direct investments in 4 additional CSU campuses: CSU Bakersfield, Fresno State, Cal State San Marcos, and San Diego State, to help ensure our state's continued leadership in the aerospace, manufacturing, defense, and quantum technology industries. I am so thrilled at the extraordinary impact this collective investment will undoubtedly have on CSU students, faculty, and staff, and on the regional economies these universities drive as vital anchor institutions within our communities. But I am also thrilled by what today represents on a more foundational level. Our nation's most consequential state and its most consequential university system in partnership and in alignment to bring about economic vitality and opportunity. More specifically, the grants announced today and the roadmap represented by the Jobs First Economic Blueprint will help advance the objectives of the CSU's own roadmap, the CSU Forward System-Wide Strategic Plan. These objectives include, among others, leading regional economic development and strengthening the CSU's position as America's leading driver of social and economic mobility. And they will help us fulfill the CSU promise that every student, almost 500,000, every student will graduate with the opportunity for a job in their chosen field of study or with a clear path to graduate school. So I offer my deepest and most heartfelt gratitude to Governor Newsom, Go Biz, Senior Advisor and Director D.D. Myers, and California Labor Secretary Stuart Knox for this much appreciated investment and for their leadership of Jobs First. And to our esteemed legislative leaders here today, thank you. Mil gracias. Not only for your support of this impactful program, but for your invaluable partnership and everything you do for the CSU and our nearly 500,000 diverse and talented students. And to you all, please know that the CSU today and every day stands ready to serve as a resource in your important work. I am now so pleased and honored to introduce Assemblymember Lori Wilson, who represents Mare Island and the city of Vallejo in the State Assembly. The Assembly member is a relentless champion of supporting the economic growth of Solano County and understands how critical it is to invest in workforce development, higher education, and the type of programs that we are discussing today. And of course, I must add, as Chancellor, she is made in the CSU. She is a graduate of Sacramento State. Assemblywoman Lori Wilson.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, Chancellor, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to District 11. Welcome to Vallejo. Welcome to Mare Island. It is an honor to be here at historic Mare Island as we celebrate an investment that represents so much more than dollars and cents. This is an investment in jobs, innovation, education, workforce development, and the future of California's maritime economy. For generations, Mare Island has been a center of American shipbuilding and maritime innovation. The work done here helped shape our nation, supported generations of families, and established Vallejo and Solano County as an important part of our country's maritime history. Today, we have an opportunity not just to honor that legacy, but to build upon it. The $8.2 million investment in California's shipbuilding industry is an important step forward for Solano County, the Bay Area, and our entire state. These resources will strengthen maritime innovation, expand workforce development, support applied research, and help prepare students and workers for careers in shipbuilding, maritime manufacturing, engineering, and emerging technologies. But investments like this succeed because of strong partnerships. I'm especially excited about the collaboration among our maritime industry, Cal Poly Maritime Academy, our Regional Workforce Development Board, and workforce partners, educational institutions, labor, businesses, and community leaders. Together, we can create a true education to career pipeline, connecting the classroom to training, training to the industry, and industry to good paying, family sustaining jobs. And here at Mare Island, we have an extraordinary opportunity to transform this historic shipyard into a center for applied research, workforce development, and technology. It gives Mare Island a renewed role in California's economic future. And this is what economic development should look like. It's not just about bringing investment into a community. It's about making sure the investment is positioned to benefit from that investment. The community is positioned to benefit from that investment. It means investing in people. It means creating pathways from education to employment. It means preparing our workforce for jobs of tomorrow. And it means investing in industries where California has the talent, the infrastructure, the history, and innovation to compete nationally and globally. For Solano County, this is our opportunity to turn our proud maritime history into foundation for future economic growth. And as the Assembly member representing this region, I am proud to stand with Governor Newsom, Cal Poly Maritime Academy, our workforce partners, labor, educational institutions, industry leaders, local government, and our business community, who are all represented behind us today, to make that future a reality. Governor, thank you for recognizing the importance of Mare Island and the incredible potential that exists right here in Solano County. Mare Island helped build America once before. We are ready to do it again. With the right investments, partnerships, and workforce, we can help build what comes next. So let's get to work. Let's build that future right here in Solano County and right here in California. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Jay Banfield, Chief Economic Mobility Officer for All Home.
Thank you very much, Assemblymember Wilson. Congratulations to the Maritime Industrial Base Ecosystem Project, particularly Dr. Armstrong and Dr. Garcia. The maritime industry has a proud history in the Bay Area, and we are privileged to participate in its resurgence with you and other key partners, including Chris Rico at the Solano Economic Development Corporation and David Hubble at the Solano Workforce Development Board. As mentioned, my name is Jay Banfield. I'm the Chief Economic Mobility Officer at All Home, and it's my privilege to stand here with you all as we mark the next chapter of California Jobs First in the Bay Area, in a county that is about to become a very real example of what this work was always designed to do. All Home has served as the convener for the Bay Area, bringing together the 9 counties and hundreds of stakeholders to a single table. And here's the problem that we set out to solve 3 years ago. The Bay Area is one of the most economically productive places on Earth, but that extraordinary prosperity has existed alongside deep inequality, a shrinking middle class, and a housing affordability crisis that makes it increasingly difficult for working people to remain in the communities where they work. And that's the gap the Bay Area Jobs First Collaborative has spent the last 3 years working on closing. That is the promise of Jobs First and why this project is so special and important. In partnership with the San Francisco Office of Economic and Workforce Development and the Bay Area Good Jobs Partnership for Equity, an association of the 10 workforce development boards and regional workforce planning units across the 9 counties of the Bay Area, we built a 21-member steering committee comprising labor, government, industry, tribal communities, community-based organizations, philanthropy, and including Chris Rico as one of our members of the steering committee. It was a coordinated table that simply didn't exist before in this form. The collaborative led to a regional economic strategy grounded in real data with priority sectors identified and validated, including but not limited to healthcare, advanced manufacturing, battery and clean energy, transportation electrification, maritime, early care and education. And critically, we've moved from planning into implementation. And that work has earned real validation. The U.S. Economic Development Administration formally accepted our regional plan as a comprehensive economic development strategy, a tangible benefit of the statewide program achieved alongside every other region in the state, marking the first time in California's history that the region has had an approved and active strategy. That's an amazing accomplishment. And so before I turn it over to our next speaker, I have the privilege of presenting the plan, the Bay Area plan, to the governor. This is one of one, I will say. It's one of one document. So thank you for your leadership.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Brian. Thank you.
So which brings us to why we're standing here today. The Maritime Industrial Base Ecosystem Project taking root in Solano County is exactly the kind of outcome this whole structure was built to produce. A high-road industry producing high-quality jobs in a region ready to compete because coordination was in place. Maritime is a key sector in our region and in the state's economic blueprint. This project reflects the regional coordination needed for job creation at scale in the region. Governor Newsom, Director Myers, and Secretary Knox, this round of funding is building on a foundation that's working because of your leadership and vision, and we want to thank you all. The state's investment is exactly what will allow us to expand vital industries and realize more just and equitable economic development in the Bay Area. And with that gratitude in mind, it is my distinct honor to welcome Labor and Workforce Development Secretary Stuart Knox to the podium.
Well, first, I should thank you, Jay, because I think a lot of hard work has taken place within this region to get to where you are today. And really thinking about the Bay Area region and your team for the vision and leadership that you've had in the development of the area's Job First plan that you just submitted to the governor. And he does actually read these, so it's important documents, one of two, I'm sure. It's fitting that we gather here at Mare Island and the Maritime Academy, a place with deep roots in California's shipbuilding history, and a renewed focus on investing in people and industries that drive the region's economic growth for this area, but all of state of California. Jobs First is about investing in people, not just the projects, as we've heard today. This is all about the people that we serve and the workers that we serve. It's about ensuring Californians have access to good jobs, training, and pathways to family-sustaining careers. Here at the Maritime Academy, the state's investments will help create an integrated talent pipeline through training in maritime manufacturing to prepare more students and workers with skills needed to support shipbuilding, repair, and other industries critical to the region and the state and the nation. Under the governor's leadership, Jobs First has supported the creation of tens of thousands of these jobs and has connected Californians to new opportunities throughout the state of California in advanced manufacturing, maritime trades, clean energy, and healthcare. These investments made through this initiative are designed to help communities and workers succeed. A winning strategy, which is our workforce, which is our backbone. Dee Dee and I are out in talking to industry all the time, and the one thing that we hear constantly is California has the best workforce in the nation. So we need to continue to educate, and we need to help pay for that. As we move forward, Jobs First will continue to support job creation, strengthen our industries, and ensure California remains a leader in economic opportunity. I want to thank the governor for championing this vision and our partners in all 13 regions for their dedication. And with that, I will turn it over to my very good friend and colleague, Dee Dee, for so much hard work.
Thank you, Stuart, who's been my partner in crime from the beginning on this project. Thank you for everything, Stuart. And thank you, Chancellor Garcia and President Armstrong, for hosting us here at this magnificent site, the Cal Poly Maritime Academy. It's such a privilege to be here today. And it's great to be in the Bay Area on this sunny morning, celebrating the state's incredible maritime legacy you've heard a lot about today. You know, they've been building ships here since 4 years after California became a state, back to 1854. So this is just one more milestone for this area, but also for California Jobs First. More than 4.5 years ago now, we launched this. It was the Regional Investment Initiative, and it was designed by Governor Newsom, directed us to create the single largest investment in economic development planning, pre-development, and implementation that this state has ever made, and that maybe any state has ever made. So fast forward today, after you've heard a lot about the incredible work and collaboration and rethinking and reinventing and community engagement and bottom-up conversations that have gone into making this bring us to where we are today, with this program, the Regional Investment Initiative, and these grants being sort of the flagship of all of that. Over the past 4.5 years, we've seen real and measurable progress. And what might look to most of you like a big plan in a binder, to me is like a dream come true, and I know that's for Stuart too. So to see the work of these communities in collaboration produce these plans, which are now producing real investments, is really exciting. We've seen some really interesting projects. Some of my favorites in Noyo Harbor's in Noyo Harbor District, we help fund an ice machine. I know that doesn't sound to people who aren't fishermen like a big deal, but it's a huge deal to the fishermen there who can now take longer trips and produce bigger yields. We were able to fund the Native Development Network in LA County to help Native American workers, tribal citizens, urban Indians, and Native families access quality living wage jobs. We were able to fund the launch of Space Vandenberg on the Central Coast, which will help us really produce the infrastructure to support a burgeoning space industry there. And on top of that, we're working on the workforce there as well. And we were there just last week for the graduation of 18 students, the first cohort of a workforce training program there that's creating new aerospace professionals to help support that work. So projects like these show what's possible when we invest in the unique strengths of these regions and these communities and let the communities tell us where the opportunities are and how we can help, and including the educational institutions which we see here, community leaders, the state, again, that collaboration that we've heard so much about today. And that brings me back to where we are today, again, amongst all these leaders who have been so instrumental in making this happen. It is possible to reimagine and reinvest in industries like shipbuilding, right? And that is one of our priority industries here out of this, all of this work of creating not just regional economic development plans, but a statewide strategy that focuses on the industries that are most likely to produce the greatest benefits in terms of jobs and income and investment for the people of California. So that's, and we're here today to celebrate $8.2 million into this project that you've heard a lot about. So with that, a little bit of history and so much gratitude for everybody being part of getting us to where we are today. I want to bring up the man who made it all possible, whose vision was the foundation, whose leadership has brought us together. So with that, Governor Gavin Newsom.
To the Chancellor, Mr. President, thank you for having us here. To Madam Mayor, thank you for the privilege of your presence. To former Mayor Schaaf, to our Assemblywoman, to many of our cadets and esteemed guests, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. The 9th such occasion since we launched 4.5 years ago our Jobs First initiative. We launched this initiative officially in Fresno, California. We've been up to the Redwood Coast. We've been down to the border. We've been all over the state of California trying to reconcile that disparity that Jay speaks of, trying to address the issue of the urban-rural divide, recognizing that the state vision is realized locally. Localism, as I say often, is determinative. It's about regions rising together. Regions, cities, counties are in the how business. State is in the what and why business. State's vision economically is realized locally. So this notion of an economic development plan had to be bottom up, not top down, had to be informed by leaders in the grassroots, community leaders all across the state of California. Over 10,000 people participated in the development of these plans. This is an exercise, as Jay said, has simply never been done in the state's history. When people say, what is the economic and workforce development strategy of the state of California? We say we don't have one. We have 13 strategies because it's really an intersection of these regional economies that make the California economy the 4th largest in the world. And I'll remind you, it is the 4th largest in the world. For all of those with the old talking points, it may be time to update your talking points, including, by the way, some of the new information that just came in 48 hours ago, that last year California enjoyed more investment than all of the other 49 states times 3 last year. $366 billion was invested into over 4,000 startups in the state of California. We simply have no peers. You don't see that on the headlines. You don't, and you should, because there's simply no other economy in the world like the state of California. And you say, well, that's a bit hyperbolic. No, it's not. Bloomberg ran the numbers. Since 2019, California's GDP has grown over 40%, not only more than any other state in the nation, not only more than the United States of America, more than any developed economy in the world. We have no peers. And it's not just in AI. It's not just in technology. Quite the contrary. those 4,000 startups, by definition, weren't all based in Silicon Valley, weren't all based here in the Bay Area. It's the diversity of this economy that also allows us to lay claim to being the #1 factory economy in America. #1 manufacturing economy, $425.6 billion of output, 39% of the nation's manufacturing here in California, $62.1 billion of economic output with our farmers and our ranchers. You talk about an ag economy. You talk about an economy of hunting jobs and forestry jobs. You're talking about the great state of California. So my state of mind is quite fixed on what's right. It's also fixed on reconciling what's wrong. And that's precisely what brings me back to this plan. What Jay said was important. Not only is this a first, but it's also important to know that it's not, as Dee Dee implied, just a document collecting dust. It's also the first time that we not only funded these plans, $5 million grants equally to the 13 regions, but we also said, if you have big ideas, don't wait. Go. You have ready-to-go ideas? We distributed $14 million. In the process of developing the plans, we said, we want you to strike. We then followed up with $120 million of ready-to-go project grants, which allowed, by the way, this region to get about $8.99 million. In fact, exactly $8.99 million for a dozen-plus projects as they were working to print the plan. Today, we're announcing an additional $48.5 million, all told, $429.5 million. So close to $450 million supporting this work all across the state of California. Action, not just idealism, implementation. Regions, again, in the how business, supporting projects in real time, including the $8.2 million that the Assemblywoman and Dee Dee referenced as it relates to the investments that bring us here, celebrating our proud maritime. Not just our proud past, our present, and what we hope reignites the future. Eat your heart out. Nothing like this anywhere in the Western United States. But it's not what it once was. It wasn't the vision in 1854, when we were constructing, building the middle class, had an industrial policy in this country. We got to get that back. We got to jumpstart that again. And so that's the vision behind this. That's the vision that led to the $8.2 million of those new grants coming specifically to shipbuilding and maritime here. And of course, those grants across the other regions supporting the diversity of this nation's most remarkable, resilient economy, the tent pole of the U.S. economy. Period. Full stop. And so with pride, yes, but humility as it relates to areas where we can improve. I'm grateful, Jay, for your hard work, and thank you for presenting me this plan. 4 more stops to go, and we'll have finished the work, but nothing more important than the issue of work, jobs, and the economy, and I'll close on this: affordability. I'd be remiss, because repetition is important. Just last week, we announced we passed 1 million mark for college savings accounts and career savings accounts for Californians, which is a point of pride, up to $1,500 to offset the cost of college. It was just a week or so ago, we announced that we had fully implemented universal preschool, a brand new grade for all 4-year-olds. It saves up to $13,000 for working families. First in the nation with 2 free school meals. Over 1 billion free school meals have been served in a community school model that will compete with the best in the private sector that we also announced and advanced, including the first asthma inhaler provided free to over 10,000 schools in the state of California, building on nation-leading efforts to reduce the cost of drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, including insulin, through CalRx. Forgive me, but I wanted to remind folks that we're very fixed on jobs, workforce, the economy, careers, and the cost of living here in the state of California. So again, thank you all very much for all your hard work. Thank you to the Golden Bear for her hard work. Captain, where are you, Captain? 30, get up here. 40 years. And how many years have you been helming this thing?
Since 2022, 4 years.
And what do you want to say before we say goodbye to the ship?
Well, I want to say thank you to the Golden Bear and all the people, the cadets, the faculty that have trained all the mariners through 3 decades of generations. And we are looking to the future with the new ship, and the future looks very bright.
Look at that. Great way to end it. Future looks bright. Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll answer questions in just a moment. Thank you, guys.